horrific anti-Muslim attack. 6-year-old killed by neighbor angered by Hamas. In a harrowing incident that shocked communities across the United States, 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy Wadea Al-Fayoume was stabbed 26 times and killed in his home in Plainfield, Illinois. His mother, Hanaan Shahin, who was also stabbed multiple times but is expected to survive. The suspect, 71-year-old Joseph Czuba, their landlord, was charged with first degree murder, attempted first degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated battery, and 2 counts of a hate crime. Authorities stated that the victims were targeted by the suspect due to them being Muslim in the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict involving Hamas and the Israelis. US President Joe Biden weighed in declaring this horrific act has no place in America. The incident not only led to a federal hate crime investigation, but also sparked widespread public outcry. It serves as a chilling testament to the rising tide of hate crimes, further inflamed by the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. Um, so this is just next level. This is just next level. Um, and I think when I was reading and doing some research into this story, um, it really raised so many questions for me, and then also just like confusion about how us as humans are such weird, unpredictable animals. Because so this family was living in this home and they had this landlord named Joseph. And Joseph was like 71 years old. And what confuses me is that Joseph previously was very accepting and very friendly towards this family. I read reports that Joseph like even built the little boy like a tree house and would do kind things for the family. And um according to reports, this guy had been listening to conservative talk radio and I guess just I mean, not to be flippant, but I don't know how else to describe it as just like he lost his mind. Like flew into a rage. Um because he one day just went down to the family's property. I don't know the exact sequence of events because it hasn't been reported on, but I'm imagining that um, you know, they knew him, so they would have let him into the house. Like oftentimes when there's attack, you can tell if the how it went down. If the person was a stranger, there'd be signs of a struggle that there wouldn't be in otherwise if the person was known to them, right? And he was known to them. And there are reports that when the mother like answered the door because she knows this man, that okay, YouTube, I am saying this because I am reporting on this for educational purposes. This is not a statement that we believe, support, and we condemn it. I'm reporting on this. Okay. There were reports of saying that when she answered the door, he just literally said, like, all Muslims must die and started attacking her. And um somehow we ended up getting to the boy and attacking the boy, and he stabbed this 6-year-old 26 times with a 7-inch serrated military blade. And it's so It's, like, so heartbreaking on so many different levels. Like, this family literally came from Palestine to be safer in our country, and then this is what happens to their little boy who's born here, and it's also so disturbing to me because different kinds of crimes tell you a lot about the person committing them, and to and about their mentality at the moment, right? And an attack of this kind is so personal because it's so up close. It's person to person. And he continued to attack this boy 26 times he was stabbed. Like, it's hard for me to imagine what the mentality of doing that would be like to do it and then continue to do it for so long to this baby. Um, like when I found out about this, it just broke me. Um, and there was a large funeral held for him. Hundreds of people attended his funeral. Um, the mother is expected to survive. Um, and I just really hope that that family gets whatever support they need. And the father gave an interview referring to his son as a martyr and saying that he hoped that the people of Gaza would accept his son as a martyr. And I was thinking yesterday about how I don't like that language in general because I think it's in the grand scheme of things kind of dangerous, but I was thinking about how I don't blame the father for thinking that way because it must be um unbearable to deal with this, and that would probably be the only thing that could offer you psychologically any form of comfort. To think, okay, well, my son, he died this way, and now he's going to go to the highest place in heaven. Um, I don't know. I mean, there isn't really much more to say about this news. It's so barbaric, um, but it's important to not shy away from the fact that these kinds of things happen, and it's important to show what happens when we get so caught up and wound up in our own hate that he would do this to a family that he previously gave a home and helped and would play with these kids.
Um, I heard that the Jewish community came in to give the. I heard this, and also some people mentioned also in the live chat, but I also heard it somewhere else that the Jewish community came to give the kid a funeral or something like that. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh, I didn't
After,
hear about that.
yeah, I heard that as well, guys. If you can confirm this. I just want to remind people how important it is to, when you're talking about news like this, to constantly separate, if you when you're condemning any actions, to separate that from a collective, a group of people, because you might think it's obvious, especially given that if we talk to other people who know that when you're condemning Hamas, or any other, you know, terrorists, it's obvious that you're not condemning an entire group of people, not Palestinians, not Muslims, not Arabs, not any of these collectives. You're not condemning them entirely. It might be obvious to us that we're not doing that, but because our what we say might have that impact on on our audience, it's sometimes when I keep saying that, people say, "Yes, Armin, we know, we get it. Like, why do you keep repeating it?" But it seems like we're not. It's given actions like this, given events like this. I think like I think it's important to say it as many times as you can, just to make sure that you're not having that influence on people. That you make sure that nobody's taking what you're saying when you're against Islam, when you're against terrorism, when you're against radicalism. Nobody in your audience, you can you can never be absolute, but you can minimize that take, that hatred towards Arabs, or that hatred towards Muslims, or that hatred towards any other general group like Palestinians. You're not responsible for that. You have done all your best to make sure that you are very, very selective about what you're condemning, and you're being very precise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, secular
No.
Sakaisi, it's crucial to always differentiate between militants and civilians.
Yes. Even civilians who with bad takes, because I've noticed when we're defending civilians, sometimes people say, well, yeah, but they support this. Okay, first of all, that is also a generalization. Many of them do support it, many of them don't. You don't know which ones do, which ones don't. But even the ones who do, bad takes are just bad takes. It doesn't make you a terrorist. It
Yeah, that
doesn't make
shouldn't be a
you,
death penalty.
yes, that doesn't make you worthy of something like that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I mean, if people were guilty, deserved anything close to this because of bad takes, then we all deserve this, because everybody has bad takes. I just want to, yeah. Anyways,
Also, this person is a fucking disgusting coward.
hmm,
To go after a
yeah,
mother and her young child when they're unattended to and defenseless. What a fucking coward.
yeah. Anyways, we should go to the next news, which is also bad. We have. Oh, thank you, Veiled Rose. Thank you so much for that. Oh, thank you, Animation, for getting 5 membership gifts for people in the live chat. Appreciate that.
Thank you. That's very
And
nice animation. Who are
thank
the
you.
new members?
Well, one of them is me, so thank you for that. So
Oh, wait, really? You've
yeah,
received the membership?
yes, yes. So thank.
That's so funny.
Um,
Um, and wait, really quickly, Veiled Rose is saying like and share the live already. Patreon and subscriber, proud to support you in my own little way. Thank you, Veiled
oh,
Rose.
thank,
And guys,
thank
don't
you.
forget that there are many different ways to support this show. This show wouldn't be able to continue without the support of our community and you guys doing so much to make sure that we can continue. So if you want to support, you can become a Patreon or a monthly donor. Link is in the description. Or just make sure to like and subscribe, share, tell your friends, like, hey, these guys do interesting work. I learn a lot. I learn about the world. Maybe you think we're funny or cute. Uh, and although we have to talk about some hard things today, the show isn't usually this rough. It's just a
Yeah.
it's a rough time to be alive at the moment.
Yeah. We got a super sticker from Kenny. Thank you so
Oh,
much,
thank
Kenny,
you, Kenny.
for the 10 euro super sticker. And then we got Secular Sakai said, liked and shared announcement of the live on Discord. Oh, well, thank you. That's amazing. Guys, our please try to get our Discord community more active. Link to our community is in the description. Go and make some noise there, talk to people, introduce yourself. Try to get
Imagine
our
the
Discord
live
community.
chat, but 24/7.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And Nasrin gave us a super chat saying, I love you, Susanna and Armin. Oh, we love you too, Nasrin. Thank you. Nasrin from Sweden.
Thank you,
Oh, by the way,
Nasim خیلی ممنون.
Nas oh, that's cute. All right. And then we got um oh, Parisha Parsh, a $10 super chat. Do you want to read that one?
Oh god.
Oh, oh, you want me to read it instead?
No,
I can read
it's
it.
okay, you can respond. What happened to this boy is wrong, but I feel like after reading all the horrible things, pain, misery Muslims inflict on women and religious minorities, I'm losing sympathy for them when they are actually oppressed.
Well, I hope you find a way not to feel like that. I really hope, because this is your humanity that we're talking about. This is your sense of sympathy. I'm not gonna. I understand how our brains operate like that, and this is a miss. Our brains have not been designed. Have not The wiring of our brain is not perfect for us to think rationally. When events like this happen, we are tribalist. We think collectively. We generalize, and we don't recognize. We have horrible pattern recognition, right? But I when you're feeling like that, just know that it's wrong to feel like that. It's as long as I don't want you to blame yourself for thinking like that, because it is a problem with our brain that does attribute guilt to a collective wrongly. Like, it is a fault. It is the way you're feeling is, unfortunately, sometimes even the best of us sometimes feel like that. As long as you know that it's wrong and you work on it not to feel like that, because this is how our humanity dies within us, right?
Mhm.
This is how, when you're fighting monsters and you're trying to you become those monsters, you have to understand that if you feel like that, you are you are making what those terrorists try to achieve more possible. This is exactly the reaction that
That's
they
actually
need and they
exactly what
want.
they want. This is what they want, and you're showing that they're winning, actually. Yuval
Yes,
Harari was talking about that. He's saying that this is a war on the heart and the mind. This is
right.
what Hamas did was a war upon all of humanity to break our fundamental belief and shatter our ideas about what humans are capable of.
Yes.
That's the real
Again.
war. And you're
Mm,
helping them win. If you feel like this, I want you to just like genuinely sit down and think about it. Because the more that you think like this, you are taking steps closer to commit acts like we just described. This is dehumanization. And when we dehumanize people, even our enemies, we become capable of the worst acts we have ever seen. If you start
yes.
thinking about like this, you're going to start acting and thinking like the people that you feel this way towards, which is the opposite of what we should want. So, genuinely, I implore you to just sit down and think about this.
Again, I know sometimes it's hard because our mind is wired to think like that, right? But as long as you understand that there's something not right here, and you take the time, you know, you could forgive yourself for feeling like that because you're just human, but you take the time to understand that this is not the way, not the most effective way, not the most productive way to get out of the cycle of hatred. And then one thing I suggest is to go look at what they're dealing with, right? I mean, I am somebody who defends Israel and Israel's right to protect itself. But every time that right to protect itself causes in civilian casualties, I remind myself that that's a tragedy. I have to remind myself that that's a tragedy. Even if it was something that couldn't have been avoided, it doesn't mean that it doesn't make it any less of a tragedy. And if I feel less like that, I feel like my humanity is dying, and I will try to go find a way to get upset. Sometimes we need to get upset. If I hear civilian casualties and it's not making me upset, there's something breaking inside of me. I'm losing something precious inside of me that I have to go and fix it. Sometimes it's good to be sad.
Perfectly put. And that's actually why I have no problem getting emotional in the show, because I think it's important. Okay, Prashi is saying, I will. That boy was an innocent child. Thank you, Prashi. Thank you for taking heed to what we have to say. I appreciate it. Um,
And also thank you for being so honest, because a lot of people have these dark feelings inside of them, and they just keep it there and they don't talk about it. But it's good if we're having dark feelings, it's good to come and talk to other people, be this brave to talk about to other people about it, because that's how we can fix these things. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.